Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel, so let's get straight into it.
Like it's Minute Maid, hijack 4, renegade, 24, number 8, Kobe shit fade away, ballin' since 11th grade, still in school, let them hate.
So around the NBA, teams call a lot of different players who bring a lot of different skills to the table. Skills that they are exceptionally good at, elite at. They are one of the best in the league at what they do. And as we all know, almost everyone in the NBA is elite at least one category of the game. Some guys are great shooters, others are elite playmakers, and a few are good slashers, and others are also great defenders. Today, as you and your two eyes can see from that title, we are talking about one of the best defenders in the NBA today, Patrick Beverley. But you see, the thing about Patrick Beverley is that he's not only known for how good of a defender he is, but also because of the intensity and emotion that he plays with. Nobody in the entire league at his size presents themselves as such a threat when they are originally supposed to be put at a physical disadvantage. When I see Patrick Beverley play defense, and why just think about him, you know?
What's the matter, boy?
Yeah, that's what I think about. He reminds me of a little chihuahua. Now, if you know just a bit about dogs, you know that chihuahuas are one of the smallest of their kind. But yet, they somehow find a way to be one of the most rowdy, loud, and annoying of their kind as well. They act bigger than they actually are. And no disrespect whatsoever, too. Like, Patrick, if he wanted to give me the ones, he could give me the ones and he could whoop me. Like, no disrespect. But when I see this little man go up against guys who are 6'9", 6'8", 6'7", and like really give it to him, he reminds me of a little chihuahua. But that is not a bad thing whatsoever. That crazy heart that he has and that belief that's within his soul is the reason why he's a defensive specialist and is one of the best at what he does. Without that ever so flowing emotion, I'm not sure if he'd be as valued and noticed as he is today. The question is though, how exactly did he gain all of this emotion? Why is he like this? What exactly happened in the past to trigger him to base his entire game off of emotion and toughness? Just like you, I'm trying to figure this out. I had no clue in the world, but after doing some research, I do now. And I'm about to spread all of this information with you in just a few moments. Growing up, Patrick was surrounded in a not so positive situation, to say the least, in the slums of Chicago. His mom had him at the age of 18 years old, and his father really wasn't a part of his life. But he didn't let that become an excuse though. The three things that he always had by his side and was always gonna be there no matter what was his mother, his grandmother, and basketball. Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you because that's all I know. I'm sure we've all heard of this type of storyline time after time after time again. It's the truth. And things like this really be going down out here in this world. You know, there's a kid with no dad and he's surrounded around negativity for the most part. We hear about these stories all the time, but we rarely ever see the people part of these stories make it out. Growing up, he didn't play any AU ball or anything like that. He just started out at the local courts nearby his grandma's house and hooped for hours upon hours in the hot weather, cold weather, either by himself or alongside his other peers. He obviously gained most of his toughness on the rough streets of Chicago, and that quickly translated to the local courts. And ever since then, it's just been something that's been instilled in his blood. It's who he is today. Before things got crazy for him though, his mom started actually doing really well financially, well enough to move Patrick out of the slums and onto the better part of the city, in an attempt to shield him away from all of the potential danger. But that step in the right direction would come to an end very quickly because of the teenager Beverley just was. All of that rah-rah and outside noise helped him thrive, so he weirdly enough wanted to go back into the inner city, inside the slums, and wanted out of the suburbs. He'd even go as far as sneaking back into his grandma's house on a consistent basis just to hoop and play ball and see his people, until he got his point across his mother. This man is a lunatic. Are y'all hearing this? Yes! Now, he did have actually good, understandable, and pretty valid reasons to move back into the inner city. One of the biggest reasons why he wanted to go back to the inner city was because of his basketball career. In these suburbs around where he lived, the big-time recruits did not pay any mind to the schools nearby. Because at the time, it used to be like this. All the real talent was always found in the slums, in the gutters. And to be honest, I myself can attest to that. That is very true. Or at least it used to be. So his mother finally fully understood, and they ended up moving back. And he did what he did best. Ball. He would instantly put up huge numbers and become one of the most talked about guards out of Chicago. He was up there with the one and only D Rose. As he went through the life of an impressive high school recruit, his plan actually started to fall into place. He generated enough attention on the court through his play and found his way to the University of Arkansas. Another step closer to fulfilling his dream and playing in the NBA. Awkwardly and coincidentally enough, he'd go on to put up stupid similar numbers that he would put up later in his NBA career in college. Things are going super smooth for Patrick Beverley, and he was projected to be a quality NBA player. But all of a sudden, after his second season was over, he gets suspended from basketball for a year. Adversity hits, and this time, it hits really hard. Hooping was the only reason why he even went to school. Bro, trust me, he would not be going to the University of Arkansas to go and study. I mean, of course it's a part of the experience and stuff like that, but that's not the main goal at all for him. This was supposed to be a launch pad and a jump starter to his career. But all of a sudden, all of the pro talks come to a halt because of a mistake he made. Now, I've done a lot of research on this man right here, and the details in this part of the story, it's not accurate, and I can tell you why. It's because Beverley himself literally refuses to tell the truth and actually to explain what went down. As he says,
"I'm not a snitch, I don't tell."
Now there's a plethora of articles out there and stuff like that claiming one thing and the other. Supposedly he got a tutor to do a paper for him, and then he took that paper from the tutor and then he turned it in when, you know, that's not his work. And you know, in college, it's a lot different than high school. Cheating is taken a lot more seriously. So some say that a tutor did his work for him and he turned it in, and then others say that a student did it. I don't know. All you need to know is that Beverley got someone, I ain't gonna lie, I did it too before. Beverley got someone to write his paper for him, and he turned it in trying to finesse and pull a fast one. But things ended up hitting the fan, and he got suspended from what he loved to do the most. Hoop. He fell into one of the most deepest, darkest moments of his life. Because at this stage of his existence, he also created someone else's existence. He had a daughter. If he was to continue his original projection without any slip-ups, then everything would take care of itself. Financial worries would not be acknowledged at all. He had a kid to provide for, and he was left with no job. And he didn't want to go back to his grandma or mom asking for financial help, because that was just too crushing and defeating for a man to do. So he went back to what he knew best, and he went and sold I don't want to say what he did exactly, because, you know, I just don't. But hold on, he actually admitted this live on TV himself. So what's the issue with me saying he was moving them packs, he was flipping bricks, transporting ounces? Do you get the idea yet? He was selling drugs. But I remind you, the only reason why he even started that though was to provide for his child. He couldn't keep up with that lifestyle though, because as we all know, that only leads to one of these two things: either dead in a grave or in a depressing jail cell. So when the opportunity came, he packed his bags and took his talents to Europe to play for a team in Ukraine. One thing that an assistant coach noticed from Beverley right off the bat was his workhorse mentality. And obviously, as we all know, that man was onto something, because he would enter the NBA draft after his success with Europe. Things were on the come up for him once again. He would end up being taken in the second round, and through a trade package, he would end up on the Miami Heat. He finally fulfilled his lifelong goal, and it was to make the league. Joy, tears of joy, and everything that he has gone through in the past has paid off, until he suddenly got waived and cut from the team because of roster implications. Another trip back to Europe it was. Back to the lab, back to recognizable grounds, back to work in the EuroLeague. Things were different this time around though. He didn't have a negative outlook on this situation at all. He embraced his fate and enjoyed life and was truly grateful for what he got. And he was just focusing on him bettering his game and bettering his family's life. But the tables will turn, and instead of chasing the NBA chased him. He received a call from his agent, and his agent let him know that the Houston Rockets were interested in him. And next thing you know, he gets a buyout. He flies to Houston, plays in the D-League, injuries happen, and what do you know? History writes itself from then on there. After hearing his come-up story, you and I both have a much better understanding of why he is the person he is today and why he carries himself with such a manner on the court every time he plays basketball. This dude grew up with so little and fully embraced the situation and worked with what he got. In Chicago, bro, the streets are real life rough and there are killers. Real life killers are created in that environment. I cannot fathom just how much aggression is built up in those streets. Patrick Beverley easily could have fallen off track and become a product of his environment. The crazy thing is that he actually is a product of his environment. But instead of moving with so much aggression in the streets, he applied that emotion and also pure passion to his game. Now without his aggressiveness, his trash talking, his ability to get inside people's mind, and his douchebag-like attitude, he would not be as good and as well known as he is today. This is his brand. This is who Patrick Beverley is. This is what made him crazy, and I think this is a good kind of crazy. All of the ups and downs that he faced sculpted and molded him to be the person and player he is on the court today. He is by far one of the most annoying, trash-talking, in-your-face, aggressive, skilled defenders out there. Because of his heart and the things that he had to go through, the death of his cousin, selling dope on the street, being banned from college, having to deal with a single mom, getting sent back to the EuroLeague twice. All of this is the reason why Patrick Beverley is Patrick Beverley today. All of this inflated his heart, inflated his toughness, and inflated his confidence in himself and his willingness to be great at what he does. Being edgy and crazy on the court, that's Patrick Beverley for you. Now whether you love him or hate him is neither here or there, but you know, considering where he came from, you have to respect it. This is the end of the video though, man. I really do appreciate you for taking time out of your marvelous day to come over here on my channel and to see what I have to talk about today. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment, and also share this video with all of your friends on every single platform that you got. Share it. But like I said, man, I really do appreciate you. Make the day great. And I'll get right with you.
No way, when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made the surf, free the way, Told my girl who'd ever